In this video, I want to talk about replacing the alternator. There is very little space between the fan shroud and the alternator stand. The alternator is attached to the backing plate and cooling fan. If we pull the alternator, the backing plate will hit the stand. Also, the fan will hit the top and the bottom of the hole on the shroud. If we detach the stand from the base and pull them together, we can get the alternator out. But if we separate the alternator from the cooling fan in the shroud, we can take the alternator out without removing the stand nor the fan shroud. And this is how we did. The first thing is disconnect the battery. Then remove the pulley and the belt. Clip the shaft to stop spinning and remove the 36mm nut holding the fan to the alternator shaft. This can be the most difficult part of the process because it is not easy to access the nut. It took a while, but we were able to get it off. Next, take off the 4 screws that holds the plate to the shroud. Then take the strap off that holds the alternator on the stand. Now we can pull the alternator. When we pull the alternator out and separate the fan and the alternator, we need to be careful not to drop any shims placed between the alternator and the fan. Shims were used if the fan touched the plate, but in my case, there was no shim used there. It is good to check the space between the new alternator and the cooling fan before installing it in the shroud. Put the backing plate on the alternator, then test fit the fan on it. The fan was not touching the plate while it was spinning, so we didn't need to insert any shim. After testing, we had to disconnect the fan to install everything back. Put the fan in the shroud. Fasten 4 screws on the backing plate. Tighten the 36mm nut to connect the fan to the alternator shaft. Put the pulley and fan belt back on. Reconnect the electric cables to the alternator and final check all the connections. Then start the engine. That was all it took to replace the alternator. Please watch the long version for detail. Thank you for watching.